When you think of Apple and Polaroid, you might think the only similarity is that colorful logo. But while they may exist on the opposite ends of the technology spectrum, both companies share an inextricable vision of art, science, and humanity. Let's get into it.
The kind of photography that would become part of the human being. Press a button and have the picture.
Welcome to In an Instant. My name is Ben, and today's breakdown takes a look at the fascinating link between Apple and Polaroid. This story is perhaps less about the companies as it is about their founders, Steve Jobs and Edwin Land. Everyone knows Steve Jobs. He's widely cited among the greatest visionaries of our time as Homo sapiens. But his idol, Edwin Land, is often forgotten. Why? Because companies like Apple developed the technology which made Land's inventions obsolete. But the core philosophy and journeys of both mavericks are eerily intertwined. Each fused art and science like the world had never seen, introduced products without testing the market, instead creating the markets entirely. Both men orchestrated extravagant keynote speeches and changed our relationships to products. And both men were ultimately fired from their own companies for their stubborn drives toward greatness. Steve Jobs once said regarding Land, "Not only was he one of the great inventors of our time, but more important, he saw the intersection of art and science and business and built an organization to reflect that." Land's unveiling of the SX70 in 1972 came after a tremendous undertaking of design and scientific development, costing almost $9 billion, adjusted for current inflation, to get the camera and film to market. Only 12 years later, Jobs revealed the Macintosh. To get to that point, he followed Land's lead in every facet of the business. His obsessive attention to design and user interface often trumped all logic. But he demanded a revolution in computing and branding for the Mac, hiring even a world-renowned industrial designer to an exclusive contract just to elevate the artistic value of the computer, to make it stand alone as a work of art. Did Jobs have to ensure every contour met an unparalleled aesthetic standard? No. Did Edwin Land have to make a sophisticated metal collapsible SLR camera this friggin' hot? No. He could have released a plastic SX70 and saved a mind-boggling amount of money in the process. People advised him to do so. Same as Jobs with the Macintosh. But what they ultimately created was revolutionary, iconic, revered products that changed how people interacted with technology. Neither could exist without the unique philosophies of their creators to truly fuse art and science. Jobs also took Land's lead in promoting the products. There's of course the aforementioned rainbow motif, but also their keynote addresses. Land's iconic demonstrations in front of packed crowds were all but copied by Jobs, who made it a touchstone of his career. And then there's the advertising. When you look at Polaroid and Apple's ads side by side, it's pretty shocking how much Apple took after the bold, iconic graphic, beautiful, full-page ads you could rip out of the magazine and stick on the wall. These products greeted consumers as wholly new ideas, risen from sheer vision without any market research. In one of their fated meetings, Land told Jobs, "I could see what the Polaroid camera should be. It was just as real to me as if it was sitting in front of me, before I had ever built one." Jobs responded, "That's exactly the way I saw the Macintosh." And he compared it to a calculator. You couldn't do market research on the first calculator, you just had to create it, build it, and ask people, "So what do you think?" That's precisely how these creations were unleashed onto the world. And much like the calculator, they did alright. But this sort of brazen style of pushing inventions to market ultimately led to Land's undoing. He attempted to follow up the SX70 with another gorgeous and extremely expensive product to develop, the motion picture instant film system called Polavision. Check out my video on Polavision for the full story, but essentially it bombed so hard he was ousted from Polaroid. Land's bullheaded, high-risk development style put him at odds with the company. Such was also the case with Steve Jobs, who was fired from Apple in 1985 after bashing horns and burning cash on development that was seen as doomed to fail. Both inventors were booted out of the companies they created 10 years after their respective iconic releases. As a result, Apple and Polaroid suffered in the wake of losing their visionaries. Gone was Polaroid's trailblazing edge, as they devolved into creating numerous plastic variations of previous products, essentially never inventing anything new again. Apple toiled without Jobs, lost the battle to Microsoft, and ultimately begged for Jobs to return, which he did, and we all know how that worked out. Spoiler alert, real good. What Jobs and Land accomplished with their married philosophies was a truly unique relationship between consumer and product. These things became a part of us. Your iPhone, or Android, is an extension of you. So too was a Polaroid camera during its heyday. Land dreamt of a day an iPhone-sized device could be pulled from your pocket and used to capture the world.
The dream, which I used to talk about then, of being able to take a wallet out of my pocket and perhaps open the wallet, press a button, close the wallet, and have the picture.
And these goals were accomplished without just groundbreaking tech. They created lifestyles, and they enabled anyone at the touch of one button to become an artist. Thank you for watching in an instant. Go ahead and collide art science and your finger with that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more reviews, breakdowns, and all things instant. Bye.